Gabbie Hanna is an attention-seeking manipulator. She comes online and she says things like, these people are bullying me and abusing me, but she's projecting.
Dude, I've been living in constant fear that a lie that I don't even know I'm telling is gonna catch up with me because I don't remember it. Because I do impulsive and then I forget about it. I have memory issues, dude.
She knows that this drama that she has is from things that happened the year 2019 and prior, and most people now are not gonna look up what happened in 2019 to see what happened. Why do people hate Gabbie Hanna? So now, when people are seeing people react negatively to her online, there are two camps of people. Camp one, people who remember what happened in 2019. People remember all the things that she has done and are like, girl, ew. In camp two, the people who have no idea what happened and think that the whole internet is just bullying some random Christian girl. And she is banking on the people in camp two to be her new audience. So I wanted to come on here today and maybe do a multiple part series to remind us what Gabbie Hanna did. Because right now, I see her online acting like everybody owes her an apology and like she did no wrong and for some reason she was being attacked for no reason. And I want us to just remember what she did because it's not just internet drama. She did actual bad things. Sorry for no friendly intros today, but I am not feeling friendly. But thank you to my patrons over on Patreon. When Gabbie Hanna was wreaking havoc on the YouTube community, I was a teenager. So I remember what happened. I was deep in that internet culture. And after this video you see today, you will know that the TikToks that she's making today in 2026 are a part of her refusal to accept accountability and projecting her guilt onto others. First and foremost, and maybe the most important thing, is her fallout with Jessie Smiles. Jessie Smiles was a very popular Viner who became a YouTuber once Vine ended, and her and Gabbie were friends. Trigger warning SA, before Gabbie and Jessie's friendship, Jessie was dating a popular Viner named Curtis Lepore. After Curtis and Jessie broke up, one night after Jessie had sustained a concussion, Curtis took Jessie back to his place and SA'd her in her sleep. Jessie filed a police report and Curtis was arrested and convicted of this. This is not just alleged, this actually happened. Because Curtis was one of the top Vine creators at the time, there was a lot of buzz about this. Enough that TMZ wrote an article about it. After the article dropped, Curtis had a lot of things to say, but essentially denying it and saying there's two sides to every story, and that when he's ready, he'll tell his side. In response to the situation, before Jessie and Gabbie were friends, Gabbie Hanna had tweeted, "Beware of a girl with a broken heart." It was the lyrics to a song. But remember, they were not friends yet. Gabbie says she didn't know the full extent of what happened. She didn't actually know what happened because everybody was calling Jessie a liar at the time, so Gabbie was like, assuming she was a liar. But once she knew the context of what actually happened, she deleted her tweet.
I hadn't seen the article yet. Beware, beware, beware of a woman with a broken heart.
In a normal situation, if this wasn't online, it'd be one of those situations where we'd be like, weird, but no harm, no foul, I guess. A while later, Gabbie and Jessie run into each other and immediately hit it off. Gabbie apologizes to Jessie in person for that tweet and they become friends. Jessie and Gabbie had a long and tumultuous friendship. And it got so bad that Gabbie was actually able to pin Jessie against some of her other friends.
Jen, one of my closest friends, we stopped talking for about, I want to say it was like 6 months. In the end, we realized that Gabbie turned us against each other. I talked shit about Jen to Gabbie. Jen talked shit about me to Gabbie. We stopped being friends because of it. You know, it was like this insane thing because me and Jen have always been so close. We never even fought. We never fought a day in our life, and since this whole thing happened, like we fought one time, and the common denominator was Gabbie. She manipulated both of us against each other until we both divulged secrets with her, said we shouldn't have said, and she took messages from when Jen was talking about me and she sent them to Deanna.
It even got to a point where Jessie's roommates would ask Jessie when Gabbie was going to come over because they wanted to make sure they were in their rooms. That's how much of a problem Gabbie was to be around. One day, Jessie goes on a trip, and on that trip, she realizes she needs to end her friendship with Gabbie. She tells Gabbie, hey, I don't think we can be friends anymore, but, you know, still love ya. And Gabbie says that she needs therapy and she will be alone forever. Fair enough. Once that friendship is over, they're both making story times about each other, but they never name each other in them. But people can assume when the story time is about the other person just based on being like, my crazy roommate. Who was the roommate? We all know who the roommate was.
I also want to say that I haven't been friends with this person for years. This happened so far in the past and I have no bad blood with this person whatsoever. I wish her nothing but the best. And from what I see, she's having a great life and she's doing her thing and she's very happy and I am very happy for her. I don't really know her anymore, but I'm sure she's grown up a ton and so have I. Now, I have admitted in the past that I myself have had some crazy moments, but there is a huge astronomical difference between having crazy moments and being a crazy. Honestly, looking back at my time with this person, I do look at it with fondness because we did have a lot of fun together and she did mean a lot to me at the time. But sometimes it's hard to believe now, here where I am in my life, that I ever put up with this type of behavior. The amount of stories that I have. But that's kind of my issue that I learned about myself thanks to a year of therapy, is I seek out like emotionally unstable, neurotic people and I try to fix them. Even if I'm not trying to fix them, it's like I feel like I need to support them and be there for them. So like I said, I have a lot of stories about this friend in particular, but I think that this is the first one where I was like, oh, you're psychotic.
I saw an email that apparently was sent to me while I did not have access, and it was from someone that I used to be friends with way back in the day. Well, I mean, I guess not way back in the day, but pretty back in the day. I wasn't friends with them when I was like in kindergarten, but you get the picture. So I read this email, and in this email, this person mentioned this thing that I'm about to tell you guys about.
Either way, now each of their separate fan bases were against each other. Gabbie fans hated Jessie and her friend Jen, and vice versa. It got so bad that Gabbie's fans created a rumor that Jessie's friend Jen SA'd a child, and it truly was a rumor. There was no child that came forward. There was nobody that came forward. It was truly just a rumor that was created by one of Gabbie's fans. And when Gabbie was confronted with this, her thing was just like, can't believe she'd do that to somebody. Can't believe she would SA a child. That's crazy. Either way, a lot of drama went down, but what is the worst is the lines that were crossed after the friendship ended. Remember Curtis, the guy who SA'd Jessie? Gabbie Hanna hung out with that man. She hung out with Jessie's. And when Jessie confronted Gabbie about this, Gabbie was like, I was hanging out with his friends and he just happened to be there. I wasn't hanging out with him. I was hanging out with his friends. So Jessie, rightfully so, was like, either way, it's weird that you would hang out with your friends of people who align themselves with the. And do you know what Gabbie Hanna said to Jessie? Curtis's friends didn't you.
Pulled you to the side and he told you that. He told you, I'm so sorry I was mean to you. I can't believe what Jessie did to you. Trying to get on your side. That part's true. But it happened in person. And the reason why I remember it happened in person is because you told me. I'm getting like really worked up and really annoyed. I'm sorry. Gabbie told me when I communicated to her, this was after we had stopped being friends, but even though we had stopped being friends, one of the things that I believe you never do, even if you hate someone now, is hang out with their and his friends. So I was hurt and I told Gabbie, this is fucked up, like I'm really hurt. And she defended herself when all of this happened and she said, I was hanging out with his friends, I wasn't hanging out with him, he just so happened to be there and he pulled me to the side. I didn't intend to talk to him, whatever. And I communicated with her and told her how much that hurt me. And that was the point where she told me something like I will literally never forget, because I cannot believe like till this day that she would say something like this. She said, Jessie, Curtis's friends did rape you. What the fuck do I say to that? Like, I don't know.
After he apologized, he said, can I tell you my story? And I said, yes, I'll listen. If Curtis came to me with hard facts that Jessie was lying in some way, I still wouldn't have defended him. He told me that was fine. He would never expect that. He just wanted to be heard. Then I asked him if he was recording because I was paranoid because of some of the that Jessie was doing to me. And he told me no. He told me almost the exact same story that Jessie told me. I don't think it's reasonable to assume that consent was implied, especially because they were broken up. You can still somebody if you're in a relationship, by the way, but if they were together and that she had previously told him something and there was a misunderstanding, I think that would probably be a different story. But you don't know that your ex wants to have sex with you in the first place.
That if he had been my boyfriend at the time, if we hadn't been broken up, then maybe it would be a different story. Are you seriously implying that if he had been my boyfriend, me having a head injury and telling him I feel sick and then waking up with him having sex with me, unprotected sex with me, that would have been fine? Do you understand how awful you are for saying that? I don't want your input on that night or what you think was okay or would have been okay in certain scenarios. Nobody fucking asked you. Stop talking about this. Stop.
And no, I was not mean to him on the call. I have always believed that there's no point in trying to learn from your mistakes if people won't let you grow from them. So if you're going to tell me a story and I have an opportunity to possibly teach you something or call you out on some shit, why wouldn't I do that? Like, what's the point? I knew that his fate would be determined by a judge and a court. I am not here to judge anybody, dude. I'm not here to condemn anybody. All he asked was to be heard, and I listened. So again, if you think I'm evil for listening to somebody and for wanting to hear both sides of a situation before I condemned and judged somebody for eternity, whatever. I also listened to Curtis because he's a human being. And just like in real court, in the court of public opinion, if you're gonna judge and condemn somebody, you should at least hear them out.
I hope this is painting a really clear picture as to why a certain demographic of people hate Gabbie Hanna. And the crazy thing is, I did not start out as a Justice Smiles fan. I wouldn't even say I am now. Not for any reason. I just don't watch her content. But I was a Gabbie Hanna fan. So this was devastating news to teenage me. But can you imagine your ex-best friend hanging out with the man who raped you and then, asking for his side of the story? You know, maybe I'm the woker. Maybe I'm the worker. Let me know. Maybe I'm the one who's dramatic. But to me, that alone is an unforgivable offense. No matter how a friendship ends with somebody, no matter how much you hate somebody, to align yourself with and allow them to have the ground to tell you their side of the story, crazy behavior, unexcusable behavior. And the thing is, Gabbie tries to lie about this. During an interaction she had with a fan, which we'll get into that more, she told the fan that this interaction with Curtis was actually over the phone, via text. Oh yeah, and I did say a fan because randomly in 2019, Gabbie decides to DM a fan who made a tweet just about, I think the tweet was just anti-Gabbie Hanna. I'll put it right here. She decides to DM this fan with screenshots of conversations between Jessie and Gabbie and Jessie and one of her old friends, which is crossing the line in so many ways and just weird. When this fan interaction got brought up to Jessie's attention, she of course made a video about this, just being like, this is weird. I don't understand why this happened. And in this video, Jessie does tear up a little bit when talking about the fact that Gabbie and Curtis spoke to each other. And maybe at other points she also teared up. But we're not talking sobbing. We're talking about just tearing up. When Gabbie saw this video that Jessie made, she made a follow-up saying that the reason that Jessie was crying in this video is because she wanted to manipulate her audience. Now, if you found out that your best friend of years, your friend that you let sleep on your living room floor in an air mattress, talked to your abuser and not only spoke to them, but allowed them to explain themselves, what would you do? What would you do? I'm Junkin Yones, and this is What Would You Do? Because mind you, when this happened, it was before the Me Too movement. So people were being heinous to Jessie online, telling her she made it up, telling her that Curtis should have done worse to her, that she was too ugly for it to actually have happened to her. So the situation alone was very traumatic, but it was not just a situation. There were so many other things that happened that affected Jessie. I can only imagine the emotions attached to that specific man and situation. I think Jessie getting a little teary-eyed while talking about the situation is very normal. And I think the fact that Gabbie's mind works in the way where she sees somebody expressing an emotion about a topic like this, it immediately says it's manipulation, shows more about how Gabbie Hanna's mind works more than Jessie. You see somebody crying and you immediately are just like, you're manipulating me, you're manipulating me. Gabbie Hanna is the kind of person who takes therapy speak and weaponizes it, which you'll see she does, because if you remember, everybody she talks to is a narcissistic abuser. Everybody's a narcissistic abuser. Everybody. Everyone. You. Me.
Are narcissistic abusers. And you have been for 6 years, Jessie Smiles. Literally right now, I'm like, can I say that? Yes, I can say that. You guys have no idea what I've been dealing with behind the scenes for 6 years. And have I ever said a word? Have I ever tried to start drama with somebody? I was being called a apologist and saying I defended my best friend and ditched my best friend for. I want the false accusations removed.
Me starting drama. This is me responding to abuse since 2018. She inserted herself into this. I was speaking about my poetry in a situation involving my poetry and talking about the unfair criticism that women get, and Angelica inserted herself and said that it wasn't fair for me to call my bully a bully, because that's what narcissistic, gaslighting, abusive people do. She's not a artist. I don't care about her opinion, because she has no accomplishments in art or has proven to me that she's actually intellectual enough to understand art. I accept my criticism from talented, smart people, not abusive, toxic, exploitative bullies on YouTube.
I don't think Gabbie realizes people just telling you what you did and being upset with you for it is not being a narcissistic abuser. That's not people holding you accountable. Just because you don't like it doesn't make it abuse. Gabbie loves to go on tangents about being a good person and how kind she is and how she's so happy with her life even though all this shit has happened to her. But she has always been on this BS.
No matter what I do, I'm always a bad person, and this is why. I have 3 amazing friends that I hang out with. Don't talk about anybody. Don't do it. Like I'm in my house, living my life. I'm at a place in my life where I'm so happy. Like I have great people in my life. Like my friendships, my love life, like my house, my career, like everything's great. And I'm so secure in myself and who I am at this point that I'm so done with bullshit. And I'm so sick of like the shit I hear that I've said or done, like coming back to me, and just like hearing the things that like people make up. I am somebody who, not to toot my own horn, but beep the beep. I am so kind.
She claims to be a good person, but at the same time, blackmails people. We'll get into that, but for more context, when Gabbie started her music career, remember, she would do press, and of course, the drama that she has been in would be brought up. She loves bringing up her drama when it's convenient for her and for attention. And I have no doubt that this is one of those times. She has a new podcast out and new music out. When this drama first started happening with Jessie, she tried to get Jessie to sign an NDA saying that Jessie can no longer speak about the situation, but Gabbie herself did not want to sign an NDA because she was like, If they ask me to speak about it in interviews, I have to. I can't not talk about it. I have to.
Gave me 48 hours to talk to lawyers and decide what I was gonna do. And ultimately, I think I came up with a really reasonable compromise. And I did that because I don't want to do this. I made it very clear on the phone call. I made it very clear on text. I don't want to continue doing this. So anything that I felt I could do, I was gonna do, which included an NDA that I said I would sign if she signed one as well. I didn't think it was fair for just me to have to sign one. She was refusing to sign one because she said she had to talk about the situation in interviews. If we both sign NDAs, I'll do it and we'll never speak about each other on the internet again.
I also have to, if somebody brings this up in an interview.
No. And I told her I would apologize to her, but I would not say that I lied in my video because she wanted me to say that. I do not have a problem with both of us taking our videos down. That for sure, I think is a possibility that we can both come to.
What I would be looking for is I should have never posted that video. I said some untrue shit, some true shit.
And I told her I would take down my videos because I never meant to hurt her. I thought that was a very reasonable compromise, to be completely honest, and I still think it was. Gabbie told me that she had some meetings and she would get back to me. And the next I heard from her was when I got a phone call one night. My sister-in-law was in the hospital and I was cooking her dinner because I'm not going to get into what she went through. That is her situation, but it was sad. And so I cooked her dinner because I don't know what to do. So I just started cooking her dinner because I wanted her to eat well when she got back from the hospital. And Gabbie called me. My husband looked at me and said, "Do not answer the phone." And I answered the phone, of course, and Gabbie started screaming at me. She told me that my friend Jen Dent was tweeting and that if I didn't get her to stop tweeting, that she had 2 podcasts that she had filmed, filled with our past, filled with emails from our past, and she was ready to release them. And I told her, "Gabbie, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about." That's literally what I said. I was like, "I'm not on Twitter. My sister-in-law's hospital. Can you leave me alone?" And she told me that she was sorry to hear that, but that we all have a lot of horrible shit going on and that I needed to get my friend to stop tweeting or else she was going to release the podcast. And I ended up hanging up on her, and she did send me a text message before I could even text Jen to ask her what Gabbie was talking about. And she reiterated that we all have terrible shit going on, but that I needed to get Jen to stop tweeting.
I feel like Gabbie Hanna is a prime example of an awful person finding the Lord and being like, "You can't criticize me anymore. I have God. I have the power of God and anime on my side." But what we are seeing on her social media right now is classic Gabbie Hanna. She does awful things and wants everybody to be on her side and is confused why people are not on her side. What if I told you Gabbie Hanna did not talk to Curtis once, but thrice? And what if I told you that's not the only ex of Jesse's that she talked to? And what if I told you Gabbie purposely tried to sleep with one of Jesse's exes as payback? And what if I told you that that ex said no and then told Jesse about it? And then when Jesse went to Gabbie about it, Gabbie said, "Oh, well, I was never actually gonna do it. And if I wanted to, I would have already." Sorry, I just need to get that off my chest. We'll dissect that later, maybe. But for right now, let's go into a phone call that Jesse and Gabbie had in 2020. I am going to include clips of that phone call here at ×2 speed. If that's too fast for some of you, because I have gotten comments before that you don't like it when I have things ×2, but it's a long video. So if it's too long if it's too fast for you, there's a gear at the bottom that if you click it, you can decrease the speed to 0.5, and then I think it'll make it normal speed again. But here you go.
He FaceTimed me right after our first fight because I genuinely, deadass, do not know how people do about it.
Why'd you pick up to him?
I didn't have the number saved. That's the first situation, was a FaceTime call. The second situation was when we were at an event and he tried to take a selfie with me, and I was like, "No, it's not happening." And then the event that I'm assuming you have to be talking about is when I was at 1600 Vine, and then he came there. I think I was at Lele's, and then he showed up, and I was like, "Oh no." He tried to talk to me and pull me
Yes.
there.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's a completely different situation. That's literally months and months later.
You were at a place with his friends. He showed up and pulled you to the side. I said that.
You hung out with Curtis's friend. Curtis was there, pulled you to the side.
I said
And
that.
you said that as the way that it all went down. I also didn't hang out with like his friends.
You admitted to it.
You Curtis. I think I was at Lele's. We all lived in the same building.
Yes, and he showed up and pulled you to the side.
I am allowed to have friends. I'm allowed to collaborate. Like, I can't cut everybody out of my life.
I didn't even know you spoke to him all these times. I'm finding out now, and honestly, I'm frankly disgusted. So I didn't even know all of this. I didn't know you took it.
You're disgusted. I literally just told you about this.
But don't tell me what am I talking about. Don't tell me that, because I just had a panic attack hearing you say that you heard him out.
He said, "Do you mind if I tell you the story of that night?" And I said, "I mean, yeah, that's fine. Like, I heard her side. You can tell me yours." So he told me the exact same story. Like, literally.
I didn't even know that he told you the story. Then I never knew that.
Yeah, so he told me the story, and then I told him.
Why would you listen to him? Why would you listen to him? Like, really? Why would you like even?
I was getting ready to send you. Like,
But for what? Just say no, sir. Thanks. Like, you're like, even though she's not my friend, I don't want to hear how you think you did her.
I deadass was waiting for you to lie. And
Who cares? Like, just hang up him.
Jesse, I would just fight for you too.
No, like, literally him.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. But like when he said that, I literally wanted to catch him in his lie. So then
For what?
he told me the story, and I told him, "Well, Curtis, that is literally the story that Jesse tells." And at the end of the day, she was asleep. Like, that is what he said. And then
Excuse me. I need to call you back. I'm sorry. I'll call you back.
you're making it sound like I'm friends with him.
No, I'm not.
I'm from the start.
I'm just saying, how can I get?
Like, it isn't news.
It is news.
Jesse, that's literally always been what I've said. I've always said he asked me to. It's literally in my notes on Twitter that I said he asked me to tell me the story, and I wanted to catch him in a lie. Jesse, like I was ready to fucking tell him off and be like, "That's not true." And then when he told me the same story, I said, "Yeah, so you're telling me the same story, which is she was asleep." That's what I said. And then he said, "Okay, well now you at least know from my side." I said, "Okay, I'm never going to publicly bash you or defend you. I'm never going to
Yeah, right.
They tried to blackmail me, by the way, afterwards.
He tried to blackmail you or me?
He did.
Why did you lie about never speaking about me that day on TMZ article? Why did you lie about defending Curtis?
I said I never ditched my friend for her, or publicly defended my best friend.
This was the day the story broke. I hadn't seen the article yet. Whatever he tweeted, I genuinely have no idea what his tweet was. I responded with a current Vine meme, which was a Big Sean, Lil Wayne song, beware, beware, beware of a woman with a broken heart. I don't remember what he said. Obviously, it had nothing to do with the case. So that was that day before I ever saw it. The tweet is deleted because I was like, oh shit, I didn't understand the context of anything about this.
One of my friends, like a guy friend, was falsely accused, and it was a life, and all of a sudden it came out that it was false, and I hated that bit. So when it came out, like I said that thing about whatever the thousands, I don't remember, I have no idea what I actually said, but it's clear that I said something along those lines. First of all the ones that I saw, because I never went back and deleted anything, so all the ones that I saw never showed that. They said get popcorn, or why can't we talk about fires? And then I saw the one that you're referring to, which says somebody responded, the actual tweet's out there, so I know what it said, somebody said something about thousands of women that they're
Yeah.
and then I was like, oh shit, I remember this. I tweeted this, I deleted it like a minute later, because at that point, if you don't remember, we had no idea who's gonna work. I barely had a Vine account, I had 2,000 followers on there. I was literally a fan of watching Vine.
Gotcha.
I said something stupid that I felt bad about, deleted it immediately, and now years later we're talking about it when you and I, but the fact that that's even coming up now, and that you use that as an argument, when we became friends 8 months after that, I put it out, I regret it. As a fan of Vine and a follower who's commenting on the lives of two people she never met.
Wait, I'm sorry, you can't.
Just like, hey, I like to speak, please. I put it out, I regret it. As a fan of Vine and a follower who's commenting on the lives of two people she never met.
Wait, I'm sorry, you can't.
Just like, hey, I like to speak, please. So just like commenting on my life, my situation, our situation, that was what I did. I put some tweets up that I obviously don't agree with in 2020.
Mhm.
It was 6 years ago,
Correct.
and I barely remember them until I saw them again. I was like, okay, yeah. But my whole point of this is, why is this coming up in 2020 when we became friends 8 months after those tweets were even out? So it just shows that you're retroactively trying to see me as a villain. We're like,
Gabbie, the answer to your question is you. Do you realize that in your video that is not factual? Like when you said, oh, I had no idea the context. Like you do understand that obviously that's not true.
no, I don't. Okay, Jesse.
Yeah.
You understand, and I know that you know this.
Mhm.
When that story dropped, every single person was saying that you lied.
Are you kidding me? Is that your justification? Because
Jesse, I found you.
everyone's apologized to me for it, first of all, and it doesn't make it better.
And so have I.
And you're taking it back, like trying to pretend it never happened. If you want people to stop calling you have to address the tweets.
Jesse, and I will, but I also
Okay,
have
that's
to
it.
talk about the history of our relationship, and that's what I plan on doing the same.
How is that relevant to you being an apologist? This was the
Jesse,
first.
how is anything you did in your video relevant?
You did a DM, and I basically did a table reading of it.
I want a public statement apology saying I should have never done this. It was inappropriate to share private conversations publicly. That is the way that I will stop talking about this and literally drop it. I want something that says I'm sorry that I hurt this person. I should not have done this. I shouldn't have shared private messages. And straight up, like my lawyers will not let me drop this without an NDA because like I'm going to live the rest of my life wondering when's the next time Jesse's gonna be like, you know, Gabbie, she did do this. I want to expose her again. And like that's where I'm at. Like genuinely just wanted to be for real over.
Let's keep this offline and just sue me, and we'll see what happens in court. And then we don't have to bring our followers through this. We don't have to bring our fans through this, and we get to the bottom of what's been hurting you. Just sue me, and then we won't have to bring our fans into this.
I'm more interested in bringing my fans into it because those are the ones who are affected.
But
I don't want your money, Jesse. I do not want your money.
I'm not saying.
I don't want it.
I'm literally saying, like, I think your fans are affected too because this is. I mean, like, I see your live streams and I was worried. But
I
I'm
should be.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
have to continue to do this because I
No, that's why we shouldn't. I don't. Yeah, I don't want
that
to.
not helped me. I still have to clear my name, so I have to like keep doing this.
You are narcissistic abusers, and you have been for 6 years, Jesse Smiles. I have to keep that in.
So you're telling me you're gonna go on live stream, you're gonna tell all your followers everything about all our past. I don't see an end game in that for you, and that's why I was saying just to sue me.
Jesse, that's stress for me too.
I know that.
Keep going and sitting with these litigators, thinking about the idea of people saying how terrible I am for suing somebody with a child. What I want is for people to hear my side. I have no desire to take food out of your kid's mouth. I know that like your kid is in like speech classes, like that shit's expensive. You're a mother, you're a family. I don't want to hurt you. The only thing I want is for my name to be cleared, for me to feel like my story is heard, and for this to go away. Obviously, people are gonna keep asking me about it, and like it's not gonna happen. Then I need to like continue doing what I'm doing. And I also want you to work on a public statement. Obviously, people are gonna keep asking me about it, and like it's not gonna happen. Then I need to like continue doing what I'm doing. And I also want you to work on a public statement, and then we can work on it together. I want a public apology that should never have to be public.
That's not gonna happen. So I
Okay, so then we keep going.
I'm not doing anything with you. Like I'm not. Like this is not. You say we keep
I'm
going.
gonna keep going then. I publicly apologize for a situation that should have been private. So I think that's only fair that you can also extend that same courtesy to me, considering what I've been through. This isn't me trying to like hurt you or threaten you in any way. Like this is not do this when it's gonna happen. Like
What's funny, well, not funny, but interesting, is that if the situation was reversed and Jesse had done to Gabbie what Gabbie did to Jesse, Gabbie would not let us hear the end of it. She would react so much less calm than Jesse's reacting. So Jesse's whole point, which she gets into in a later video, is that Gabbie's apology for defending Curtis becomes moot as soon as Gabbie started saying that she never defended Curtis. As soon as she started denying that that ever happened, the apology that she gave Jesse did not matter anymore. Which I will leave it up to you to decide if that's true or not. Because now Gabbie has said multiple times that she has never defended Curtis. But it's just not true. Although briefly, she did align with Curtis. But I get it, denying it makes her look better. But as atrocious as that is, the tweeting and then deleting and apologizing to Jesse, which could have just been left alone if she would have just been like, yeah, I did and I'm sorry. To have 3 separate interactions with a man who SA'd your best friend, even if it's your ex-best friend, that's crazier. I would say Gabbie allowing Curtis to tell his side of the story is gross, point blank. In the phone call, isn't it crazy that Gabbie says it was years ago? Like, that's one of her points. Like, this was years ago. But she is the one, years later, bringing it back up. Knowing all that you know now, which is honestly just the tip of the iceberg, let's look at some of Gabbie's more recent TikToks through a new lens.
I feel like this is a good time to talk about true biblical forgiveness. You need to stop talking about your trauma. You need to stop talking about your abusers. God tells you to forgive. And God does tell you to forgive. And I do forgive. I have to forgive them all the time. The day that I got on my knees and prayed for Trisha Paytas in 2021, I said, I forgive her, Lord. Please forgive her. Please pull her back on the right path. I don't want her to go to hell. And I had the same conversation with God about Jesse, Angelica Olves, all the drama channels, right? So I forgive these people. I've had to really embrace what they've done because it brought me here. Everything is better now in my life in terms of well-being, quality of life, actual joy, happiness, peace.
Doesn't that sound familiar?
I'm at a place in my life where I'm so happy. Like, I have great people in my life, like my friendships, my love life, like my house, my career, like everything's great. And I'm so secure in myself and who I am at this point that I'm so done with bullshit. And I'm so sick of like the shit I hear that I've said or done, like coming back to me.
But I want to know in her head, what exactly is there to forgive? That people are calling you out for what you did? I genuinely think she's rage baiting. She wants eyes on her and she wants her OG fans back. But if you don't want people to think you're a shitty person, then don't do shitty things. Because she did so many other shitty things, but if you want to see all of it, you have to go watch Jesse's video. She has 2 videos that are like hours long. Gabbie knows this situation specifically gets people mad because she is in the wrong in this situation. Like, I feel like objectively, but I guess this is not something that you can be objective about. But because Gabbie knows this situation gets people mad, she knows that if she talks about it in any way that does not seem like she actually cares or is actually sorry or is downplaying her involvement in it at all, people are gonna get mad. Which, more eyes on her, more eyes on her new music, more eyes on her new podcast. She knows how to get people to talk about her. And now she can spew hateful things, spew things that aren't true, spew things that make her seem better, and move on with her day and be like, I'm moving with the Lord. Bullshit.
I didn't have any of that. And if these people didn't abuse me in the way that they did, I would have never found the truth of Jesus and found actual rest and peace, right? That said, we are told to expose lies. The Bible says, speak what is true, speak what is right. God said, if you have a problem with anybody, bring it to them one-on-one. And if they won't hear you and they won't correct it, then bring it to the judge. We've been in the court of public opinion for many years now. So I'm bringing it to the judge and I'm pleading my case, but this isn't about convincing people and it's not about an apology. One thing in my podcast that I wish I would have said differently, and I wish I would have just listened to my husband, because I edited out my husband being like, well, don't ask her for an apology because you can't force anyone to apologize. Obviously she should, but what you should be asking her to do is acknowledge what she's done. And I guess that's a better way to put it, is I don't have to get an apology from Trisha because I've forgiven Trisha. However, she has never owned up for what she's done. Jessie Smiles has never owned up for what she's done.
I want to get into what Gabbie did to Trisha, but that alone will be a long video. Long story short, she lied about Trisha Paytas having herpes. I'm pretty sure this story also involves Shane Dawson somehow. But this video is already long enough, so if you guys do want like a part 2 where I talk about that situation, let me know. I wonder if in Gabbie's head, she really just forgets what she did. I have to assume that that's the only reason that isn't her just being an asshole that explains why she's doing all this. Because if what Jessie is saying is lies, the hours of footage she has, the hours of videos that she showed evidence in, if that is all lies, prove it to us. Show us something.
And that's why I'm going to continue talking about it, because this is my story. And I'm not going to be silenced as a victim of psychological abuse, slander, gaslighting, exploitation. I'm not going to be silenced just because Jessie Smiles and Trisha Paytas want me to shut up. Because a while ago, somebody put a screenshot in the comments of a Jessie Smiles video of her like crying, and it's like, Gabbie, Hanna will never stop. And she's right. She's dead right. I'm not going to stop because this is my story. This is my life. This has been the last 6 years of my life for me. This is still present in my everyday life. This is something that I deal with the consequences every day. And Jessie Smiles is right. I will not stop. Gabbie Hanna cannot be stopped. She can't. She simply can't. I forgive them, but I still deserve to be able to speak my story. I still deserve to be able to share the effects of psychological abuse. I'm still allowed to advocate for myself and for other victims of psychological abuse.
And has to do with my, and I have repeatedly asked this woman to stop talking about my, to stop talking about my trauma, to please leave this out of her narrative of whatever she wants to talk about with me. Talk about anything you want. Stop talking about that. But this video was was so much worse than I ever thought that it could be. But she decided to contact my ex-boyfriend, Richie. And I know this because he called me one day and said, hey, can you please come to my house? And I was like, why? And he told me he wanted to talk to me. And I went to his house and he showed me text messages from Gabbie. She literally told him that I was horrible. She told him I was a slut. She told him that I cheated on him or that I slept with someone as soon as I broke up with him. And it gets worse because then she proposes that they have with each other, and he agreed. Although I was upset with both of them for this, I was more upset with Gabbie because she would have never told me. Richie told me because he has a fucking heart and he has a conscience, and he was like, I'm sorry, I don't know why I put myself in this situation. I would never have sex with her. I saw the text messages where she tried to execute having sex with him, saying, hey, what are you doing tonight? And he's like, I have work early tomorrow. And when I confronted Gabbie about this, specifically about the part where she calls me, she said that she called me that because that's what everyone says about me. This was my best friend. This was someone that I trusted, that I just let into my life. And all along, she was just judging me. So the times in the messages where you admit to telling him I'm a slut and all that stuff, that never happened either, right? Every single time that her and I have ever spoken about this, she continues to say, well, Jessie, if I wanted to do it, I could have done it. So just get over it.
I did not try to have sex with Richie because if I wanted to, I would have. When he asked me,
Oh, there it is. There it is. The favorite sentence you say in the emails. If I wanted to, I could have. Anyway,
No,
as I was saying.
If I wanted to have sex with Richie, I would. So stop telling people like I
And I knew I might run into Gabbie, and I had to mentally prepare myself for that because I was completely pissed. I arrive at VidCon, I go into the lobby, and I talk to a mutual manager of ours. And she was talking to me about getting all settled in and stuff. And before I left, tells me, oh, by the way, Gabbie was just here. She was looking for you. I just played it off and I kept it pushing. And then a couple hours later, at a cocktail hour, I was told again by someone that you were looking for me. And I'm not gonna lie, I was upset. I could not understand how you had the audacity to look for me so much when you knew that we were having an issue because you had just tried to recruit my ex-boyfriend to be in an exposed video about me. So you weren't looking for me to play patty cake. You were looking for me to either talk something out or start conflict. I don't know what. Fast forward even more. I think it might have been the next night. I went to a party and I was drunk. No excuse for this. But I was drunk. I encountered one of our mutual friends who told me that Gabbie was looking for me again. And I lost it. That's the only way to describe how angry I got. And I unblocked Gabbie's number and I texted her, if you keep looking for me, you're gonna find me and I'm gonna punch you in the face. That is the physical violence threat. I immediately knew that I shouldn't have sent that to her. So I went to my room, I fell asleep, and the next morning I left VidCon early because that's my responsibility to remove myself from a situation where I'm losing control. But that's not the end of it because even after sending that text message, which I think most people would look at and say, oh, this person's obviously at their mental break, Gabbie decided that she was gonna reach out to multiple people, but one of them being Alex James, and send him a series of text messages asking where I am, if I went home, and if he could relay a message. She wanted him to send a message to me when I think I made it clear that I don't want any messages and I don't want to be found by her. I don't want to be talked to by her. I think my message made that pretty clear. And in those text messages, she said that if he can't get those messages to me, then she'll just get a random to do it, which is something that Gabbie did a lot. And it really frustrates me that she talks about boundaries when she has never respected a single boundary in my entire life. When I block her, she goes to my email and she emails me anyway. When I make it clear that I don't want to talk to her, she goes to other people to get messages to me. There is no escaping her, and she makes it seem like I want so much to do with her. She literally has always pushed and pushed and pushed until I'm like exploding. I don't know what else to do. So anyway, Alex did not relay that message to me. She ended up emailing me the message herself. Alex asked her if she figured it out, and she says, nah, it doesn't matter. I just need to not take it personally. She has a mental disorder. I'm not saying that to be like she's crazy. She's just genuinely sick, and I can't help how her mind works. It's just the same as my mom. You just can't reason with people whose brains function that way. It's just hard to not take it personally and to have someone have such a weird, skewed perception of you. And when she emailed me, she basically was like, I have no idea why you're upset with me. I thought everything was fine. Why did it get to this point? And I feel like I'm going insane. I'm like, Gabbie, you tried to recruit Richie for an exposed video about me. The person you tried to have sex with to spite me. Yeah, I'm pissed. Stop looking for me. I don't want to talk to you. Go away. And this is after she had been in-house with Curtis and allowed him to apologize to her if he had ever been rude at events. This was after that. So this is not the only thing you've done to spite me, and now you're just pissing me off. And when I point that out to Gabbie and I say, Gabbie, you tried to recruit Richie for an exposed video, she's like, well, it was just a preemptive measure. Gabbie has a history and a pattern, if you will, of not addressing things until they're shoved in her face. She will hide anything and everything that she has to do with a situation. It's not a memory thing. She's always done this. That event had just happened a few days before she emailed me. She knows damn well that she had tried to recruit Richie for this little exposed video, and you're gonna pretend to not know. You pretend to not know because you think I don't know. She will not address anything or be honest about anything until you show that you have proof of it. That is why people take things public with you, Gabbie. That is why people talk about you publicly, because privately you will bombard them, you will make them feel like what they think happened never happened, and it's frustrating.
And who is the actual serial abuser? Someone tell me. Who?
And nobody's gonna silence me again. It's no longer about trying to convince people I'm right. It's no longer trying to convince people that I've been abused. It's about telling my story so that I can better tell God's story. Because God's story is of redemption. God redeemed me, he saved me, he healed me. And then he gave me the strength, courage, and conviction to come out and talk about this story again, because God does not want us to live in a place of fear. And these people have threatened me and tried to silence me for so long, and that's what this is really about. Nobody's gonna make me feel scared. Nobody's gonna tell me what I can or can't say. I'm not gonna worry about the consequences of telling my testimony, which include public slander, defamation, psychological abuse on a global scale, started by Trisha Paytas and Jesse Smiles, and then picked up and carried by all of the drama channels. That's my story, that's my testimony, and I'm gonna keep talking about it. And until I got through this part and face it head on, I couldn't talk about it. So I can't be stopped. I'm never gonna stop talking about what God did for me.
Yes, this situation might have been very traumatic for Gabbie. Millions of people online hating you, that sucks. But at the end of the day, it is self-inflicted. You can be traumatized because you did a shitty thing that had a disproportionate consequence, but that doesn't change the fact that you still did that shitty thing. But like I said, because she's an influencer, because she's in the eyes, people's reactions and the actual social consequences that she had from the situation were a lot. But that doesn't mean it's not your fault. That does not mean it's other people's fault just because people had a bad reaction to what you did. And this situation and what happened was something that very clearly, back in the day, made Gabbie Hanna go a little bit.
This is people from my hometown seeing lies and rumors spread about me. This is my relationships being ruined. This is YouTubers and my friends from this space will not answer my text messages because they're afraid of being swept into the drama. This is me being uninvited to birthday parties and Christmas parties. This is my friends unfollowing me on social media because they believe a false narrative. This is my life. This is personal to me. This is me spending tens of thousands of dollars and pouring everything I have, my energy and my time and my emotions into my work, and it being stifled by YouTube. I used to put out a YouTube video, a music video, and it would be number 1, 2, 3 on trending. I get 2 million views in a day. And yes, I know that views don't matter, but this is my job, people. It does matter. This is me trying to make a name for myself in music.
She cannot handle the heat. Like I said, that video I played is old because she has never been able to handle the heat. In another video, she talks about how in real life this is affecting her. People are laughing at her on the street. She's turned away from opportunities because of who she is and the drama that she's attached to. As much as people don't like her in real life for this situation, there are other countless situations people could be pointing and laughing at her for. Again, self-inflicted. You are the monster girl. You are the high school bullies girl. You are the, I think you're ugly, I think you're fat, that's just my opinion, girl. There are so many memes that she's known for. And not everyone or every organization wants to be aligned with somebody who is so high profile because of all the drama that comes along with that. And now making this video, making these videos to drudge up the past solves nothing. But Gabbie Hanna does not want solutions. She wants attention. That is what this whole thing has always been about. She wants attention. Because the actual solution to the problem she's having is literally just being quiet. Staying silent. Not getting into any more drama. That is the actual solution to this problem of people looking at you and being like, ew, that's Gabbie Hanna. She's full of drama. The solution is not being in any more drama, but look at you now. Constantly making TikToks, tagging other TikTokers being like, you're a bad person and I can see it. Getting into drama now with Adam McIntyre, making videos to JoJo Siwa being like, girl, I see it. We're like the same, girl. The best solution for Gabbie Hanna right now is having a career that is not online. But she doesn't like that because it doesn't give her enough attention. A few years ago, when Gabbie Hanna was offline, a YMCA posted about her being the Zumba instructor. People saw it and people were genuinely so excited for her. Even people who hated her were genuinely excited because they were like, I'm so glad that she was able to find a career offline that is probably better for her mental health. But Gabbie doesn't want that. Like I said, she wants to be online. She wants attention, and now she has it. People like me and so many other creators are making videos about her, and that's what she wants. She doesn't actually want an apology. Because apology for what? Do you want Jessie to apologize for speaking her truth? Do you want people to apologize for the fact that, hey, I'm sorry that I told people what you did? You are the one who went on Keemstar to talk shit about your ex-best friend, Jessie Smiles. You are the one who is dragging out this beef for relevancy.
What did she even say? Guys, let me ask. Apologize to Jessie for what? Apologize for what? Because listen, I've made many public apologies to Jessie Smiles that were already private apologies years before, okay? It feels like for years, I've been held at gunpoint by Jessie and then her audience to apologize for what? But I always do. I always find a way to be like, you know what? I can see where you were hurt and I'm sorry. And then she just goes online and says something anyway. That Jessie Smiles has not said your name in years. Babe, in 2019, Jessie Smiles made a video about an alleged conversation we had in 2014. Despite the fact that we had years of text messages from 2014 to 2019 of basically her asking to be my friend and wanting to collab. We have evidence on her own YouTube channel out of her own mouth saying that she wanted to collab with me as of like 2018. So she's allowed to 5-6 years later after we have a conversation come on YouTube to try to ruin my life. And then after years of lies, manipulation, and exploitation, and public slander and mental abuse, I should just get over it and move on. She doesn't talk about you anymore now that she built her platform off of slandering you. Just move on. We've all moved on. I'm just trying to tell my story. Just trying to share my story, just like she did. And I'll never stop. I cannot be stopped. Girl, move on.
Gabbie Hanna has a horrible victim complex. She genuinely thinks she cannot do anything wrong, and it's sad. And I hope she gets a new therapist that is not ChatGPT because yes, she uses ChatGPT as her therapist, just like Kendra. I don't think this is going to end how Gabbie Hanna wants it to end, and then we're going to just all end up here again.
On a scale from 10 to 1, do you hate who I've become? 'Cause I hate who I've become. I'm sorry for who I've become. Lullaby.
I think she thinks that she wants this because any attention is good attention, but boy oh boy, I guess we'll see. If you want to see essentially this exact same video, but dissecting the other crash outs that she has had with other creators, because there's no end. It does not end with just Jessie. She did so many other things. She has drama with Joy Graceffa. When she did Escape the Night, she was awful. Trisha Paytas. But imagine what you have to do to make the internet take Trisha Paytas' side over your side. Not that I don't like Trisha Paytas, don't get me wrong. I love me some Trishy P. But the internet is often against Trisha Paytas. She can be a little loud. She can be a little dramatic. So for the majority of the internet to side with Trisha over you, yeah. Thank you guys for watching. If you'd also like to support me further, please watch my video from last week called Are Puppy Mills Selfish? It is my second sponsored video, and I can't keep having these sponsored companies thinking that I am chopped in unk. If they think I'm a schlub, they will not want to sponsor me any longer. And that video performed the worst out of any of my videos in so long. So I'd appreciate it if you went there, interacted with the giveaway. There's literally a giveaway in that video. There's a giveaway. All right. Thank you. Bye.